A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News on TV1, coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. My name is Krishan Devasgayan. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
The iconic cultural pageant of Colombo, the Hunupitiya Gangarama Perahera, parades the streets tonight. Educational reforms could not be implemented so far due to a lack of proper leadership. A revelation from the former chairman of the National Committee on Educational Reforms. Committed to making a transformational change in education, no matter what obstacles arise. Prime Minister Harini says. Opposition leader meets group on hunger strike for 6th consecutive day. Promises teacher appointments to development officers without a competitive exam. Constitutional Council to convene again on the 3rd of February to take a decision regarding the Auditor General.
A program organized by the United Voice of Black January, demanding justice for assassinated and disappeared journalists as well as media institutions that were set on fire, was held today in Maradana. Reverend Father Rohan De Silva, the Executive Director of the Centre for Society and Religion, along with a group of journalists and others, participated in this event. A silent protest was held demanding justice for journalists who were assassinated or forcibly disappeared. Afterwards, the group held a candlelit vigil to commemorate the media professionals who have lost their lives.
I would like to ask, why was Lasantha killed? Using the war as a path, the then Defence Secretary who was in this country, Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, carried out a MiG aircraft deal. Under the guise of war, by showing the war and blinding the eyes of these people with the war, a MiG aircraft that was priced to be bought at $1.2 million. In that MiG aircraft deal, Gotabaya Rajapaksa purchased it for Sri Lanka for $2 million. In addition to this, the Ukrainian government had sold these for even less than $1 million per unit. That means more than double the price. That means they have defrauded and sold the people's money by keeping a profit of about $1.7 million. So the one who defrauded the people's money under the guise of war stole it, committed those villainies and earned money by taking commissions from them is the hero of the country. So the one who defrauded the people's money under the guise of war, stole it, committed those villainies and earned money by taking commissions from them is the hero of the country. Lasantha Wickrematunge, who exposed that it was he who did these things, was branded a tiger or terrorist. Those motorcycles that came in the attack disappeared. They were hidden. Instead, by killing a person from the northeast and planting that person's bike, a top official of the police at that time was the one who tried to prove that it was the LTTE who killed Lasantha. In this country, they kill journalists and make them tigers, make them criminals, or level some other allegation. That is exactly what has been happening since then. Especially it was the security forces of the country who were within this wave of crime. Are we submitting a petition now? We are starting to sign a petition today. What we say through this petition, the first point is to appoint a commission with powers to seek the truth and fulfill justice for these murdered journalists. These are still officers hidden within this, who use their power in the opposite way. Some officers are still receiving promotions. Sandhya Eknaligoda said recently that a suspect in Prageet Eknaligoda's case has received promotions even as of today. Furthermore, she receives calls threatening her left and right. So even today, those criminals are hidden within this government. Therefore, just because this government changed, that criminal state has not ended yet. The case files of some of these murdered journalists are being suppressed and hidden. So they suppress and hide them. They suppress and hide the case reports of those who are friendly to them, those who are with them politically. They only send the others up. Therefore, we urge in this petition to make the Attorney General's department an impartial place rather than it being a biased place.
කරන්න කියලා අපි මේ පෙට්ටමේ බල කරනවා. යහපාලන ආණ්ඩු කාලේ ජනමාධ්‍යවේදීන් සම්බන්ධ 126න්
During the government of good governance, out of those 126 cases involving journalists, investigations were initiated for only 6. The government officially admitted that there were 120 such incidents. Out of those 120, new investigations were started for only 6. What happened to those 6? Take the investigation into the assassination of Lasantha Wickrematunge. To this day, investigators have been unable to find out who killed Lasantha Lasantha Wickrematunge to suppress evidence starting from the then IGP in the year Lasantha Wickrematunge was killed, the IGP, then the DIG, the Senior Superintendent of Police, then the OIC there went and gave a statement to the Criminal Investigation Department regarding how orders were given from above to suppress evidence. The DIG told the investigating OIC, Sugathapala, after summoning him, that what happened to Lasantha will eventually happen to you too. A few people involved in suppressing evidence were arrested. After that, regarding the abduction and threatening of the primary witness in the Lasantha Wickrematunge murder case, his driver, 3 members of the Army Intelligence were arrested. It was in January or February of last year that the Attorney General sent a letter requesting the release of those 3. Now, even if the actual killers of Lasantha Wickrematunge couldn't be arrested, those who concealed evidence were arrested, weren't they? Despite having this much evidence, charges have not been filed to this day. In the Keith Noya case, suspects were arrested. Who were the suspects? Members of the Army Intelligence. To my knowledge, no indictments have been filed in the Keith Noya case to this day. Next, the assault of Upali Thenakun and his wife. Regarding that incident, as far as I know, indictments have currently been filed in the Gampaha High Court. Then the assault on journalist Namal Perahera. However, indictments were not filed. The case was filed only in the Magistrates' Court. The Attorney General's Department did not intervene properly. What happened in the end? The suspects were released. Next, the abduction and disappearance of Prageet Eknaligoda. The case has been filed in the High Court. The trial is ongoing before a triad bar. When the judges receive promotions or transfers, or when such numbers decrease, various delays occur. I believe Sandhya Eknaligoda has requested the Honourable Chief Justice to appoint judges for this case immediately, but that is not the most serious matter. The 9th respondent in this case, the 9th accused, is being given a promotion this very January, a month where we commemorate Black January and these human deaths. He is being promoted to the rank of brigadier. When this 9th witness, this 9th accused, was involved in the abduction of Eknaligoda, he held a very junior position. If a man who contributed to abducting Eknaligoda from such a junior position becomes a brigadier, how much more can he do? When such promotions are granted, witnesses get scared. What is the ultimate result of that? Witnesses become afraid to come before the court and tell the true story. Poddala Jayantha came to Sri Lanka in 2010 and lodged a complaint with the Criminal Investigation Department requesting an investigation. An investigation was started. After the presidential election on the 17th November 2019, the government changed. From that point on, the investigation into Poddala Jayantha was suppressed. When Poddala Jayantha went to the CID recently, a few months ago, even the documents that were in those files were missing. No one has been arrested yet. Therefore, shouldn't the political leadership be held accountable for this? The result of not doing so is that such things will continue to happen in the future as well.
එහෙම නොකිරීමේ ප්‍රතිඵලය තමයි ඉදිරියටත් මේ වගේ දේවල් වෙන්න තියෙන එක. මේ ගනුදෙනුවට අදාළ ලිපිගොනුව නැති වෙනකොට
I was serving in the Air Force at the time the file related to this deal went missing. There is no way to carry out the matters related to this transaction because as far as we know, even by now, the file has disappeared. So the journalist who exposed this was murdered. He has been murdered. Now what is left to do? If that is also not there, is that we must raise a voice. What happened to this tender file? Who stole the tender file? Regarding the disappearance of that file, the tender file that could bring this deal to light and prove it with evidence, we must start a new struggle to demand that the law be enforced against those responsible, including the Army Commander and the Air Force Commander of that time.
In a headline-making story this evening, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that transformational change in the education sector will proceed relentlessly, overcoming all obstacles in its path.
අපේ රජය විසින් අධ්‍යාපනයේ පරිවර්තනීය වෙනසක් කරන්න
Our government is making a significant commitment and putting in a tremendous effort to bring about transformational change in education. Naturally, some members of the opposition and other parties raise criticisms and try to create obstacles. Whenever such initiatives are undertaken, challenges are expected. However, if we have a clear understanding of our goals and objectives, we must face and overcome all obstacles on the path towards achieving them. Today's world is extremely complex. To face such a complex world, we must have a strong human resource base. Our greatest asset is our people. To bring about transformational change in our society, to become a truly educated and skilled society, and to develop a nation that is safe and secure in every sense, economically, culturally and socially, we must properly develop our human resources. The best tool to achieve this is our education system. That is why we're transforming the education system to build a future society that is safe, prosperous, beautiful and provides a good life for all.
සියලු දෙනාටම ලස්සන ජීවිත හිමි වෙන ඒ සමාජය ඒ රට බිහි කරන්න.
The Sisunena Pranama Scholarship Award ceremony, organised by the Education Cooperative Society, was held this morning at Temple Trees under the patronage of Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. What's happening to Sri Lanka's education system? Former Director General of the National Institute of Education, Professor Gunapala Nanayakara, says real reform must begin now and it must be comprehensive.
The first one is governance and education. We must have appropriate leadership, appropriate mechanism at the Ministry of Education, and then appropriate mechanisms at the divisional level and zonal levels of education. So that the stream of education administration must be made efficient, so that a system of supervision can be applied to all the schools. Today, no schools are being supervised properly. Without supervision, no reforms can be implemented. Number 2 area is digitalization. Without proper digitalization of the system of administration as well as education delivery and curriculum delivery, there cannot be effective education reforms. Not much work had been done in that area. Number 3 is curriculum reforms. Curriculum reforms must be thought of in view of solving some of the key problems in education. Number 1, the mismatch between education and the economic system. No economic planning, no economic thinking has gone prior to policy formulation. What are the priority areas in the economy where the human talent should be produced? That has not been worked out. There is no plan for human resource development which can be coordinated with the education plan. Then number 2, the policies in education ministry are not necessarily designed and implemented by a team of people who are experts on this subject. It had been done by one particular division, and the purpose had been to utilize the funds that had been given by ADB and the World Bank. So policy making and education reforms have remained apart. That has to be solved. Then a major problem in our education is that the child is not getting the education that he deserves. What it means, children must be given education that they can do, they can deliver, they can enjoy. In other words, there must be a fit between aptitudes of the child and the learning options given. So it is not that I am preparing my child for a medical profession or engineering profession or some other profession, but the issue begins by looking at the abilities of the child and the desires of the child and the various options. So career development, career guidance, aptitude testing must be incorporated into the process so that the child gets what he thinks suitable, what he enjoys, what he wants to pursue, not what the parents want, not what the teachers want, not what some other person wants.
He also expressed his views about the examination system in Sri Lanka.
Another problem, O-level examination. Today, 80,000 children roughly annually fail the GC O-level examination. Where do they go? They have no clear-cut place to go. So they mostly end up in underworld and some other worlds, drug worlds, and unwanted places. Why do we fail students in our school system? As a matter of policy, we should not fail a child, but we must give them a level of assessment or achievement that they have reached, and let the industry, the employers, or anybody recognize the level of achievement, not pass and fail. Then another major problem is that the grade 5 examination. Grade 5 examination is an awkward, inappropriate, problem-creating step in our assessment system, and that has to be totally looked into, but I am not saying should be replaced, it should be eliminated, but it should be replaced with something proper. And then A-level examination. About 30% of the students who qualify enter the universities of our system, and others are not guided in our social system. Where do they go? There is no proper connection between general education and the technical education, and professional education, and private sector education. So all the subsystems of education must be properly integrated so that the children after A-level are aware what the career paths, what the future of those people would be. Assessment is one of the main reasons why there had been unnecessary burden on the children. It is not the content of the syllabus, but the way that the content is delivered, the pressure on the child to go on rote learning and prepare for exams to be competitive. Those are the reasons why unnecessary mental stress had been created in the children. Content is okay, I believe, the content size is okay, but how it is managed is the problem. So we must reduce the burden of national examinations in our curriculum reforms. To have an effective education reform program in this country, number one, the stakeholders must get together and put their ideas into this particular effort. To begin with, we must prepare a document, maybe some experts and other concerned people develop a comprehensive set of proposals covering education administration, curriculum development, curriculum measurement, learning delivery, digitalization, financing, all areas to be covered. If the country is desirous of doing something worthwhile, if the country is committed, this can be done within 1 year. Within 1 year, the thing can be done. I think we must do something. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, to raise awareness about the new education reforms, a district-level discussion and conference on education reform was held yesterday in Mathura.
Now, Mr. Sajith Premadas also says, who told this should be stopped? The government has now halted these education reforms. We have already seen that there are some agitators. They stay in one place, looking one way, but in a moment, they change their stance. Likewise, beyond those offensive words, our society has now become fragmented. What exactly has happened, they ask. Now, people are asking us why this process cannot be restarted. I'm saying that from the opposition's role, they don't need to act this way. There must be a clear position for them. What exactly are they standing for? Those groups don't have clear objectives, so they just take whatever they find and use it to attack the government without considering whether it benefits society or not. They are just acting on their own whims and fancies. Now, the continuous hunger strike launched by a group of development officers in front of the Presidential Secretariat demanding their recruitment into the teaching service without a competitive examination continued for its 6th consecutive day today.
What is this development officer issue? In reality, there is no position officially called School Development Officer. The correct title is simply Development Officer. Here is the background. During the presidency of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, 2 groups of degree holders were recruited into the public service. This recruitment took place shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic. Unlike previous recruits, these degree holders were promised that they would receive institutional training before being placed in vacancies. After recruitment, the degree holders were assigned to government institutions for training. A portion of them was placed in schools under the existing development officer positions. Some of them contributed to teaching activities in schools, while others continued functioning as development officers in their respective capacities. Some of the degree holders who worked as development officers in schools went on to pass examinations and join the teaching profession. Others continued in the development officer position within the schools. Now, a group of these individuals who were serving in schools as development officers is requesting to be absorbed into the teaching service without having to sit for competitive exams. In the past few days, several supporters of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya visited this location. This morning, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa also arrived at the site. One individual who had been participating in the hunger strike became unwell and was taken to the Colombo National Hospital.
These degree holders are not just ordinary degree holders. They are often referred to simply as development officers, but it's incorrect to call them that. In reality, this is not a matter of a handful. It involves 20,000, of which about 6,000 have already left the program. The government must take responsibility for that. I was also informed that some are claiming this hunger strike is organized by the Samagi Jana Balawegaya as a political act. That is completely false. The truth is, the Samagijana Balavegya, led by me and my team, have been supporting these teacher development officers from the beginning, not for political purposes. However, we have not yet received state power. Had we been in power, these degree holders and teachers would not need to undertake such an extreme fast. That is why we understand the value of this 20,000 strong group. Therefore, we are making a clear request to this deceitful government. No more negotiations. Take action.
දැන් අපිට අඟහරුවාද සාකච්ඡාවක් ජනාධිපතිතුමා ලබලා දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ සාකච්ඡාව අසාර්ථක වුණොත් සර්ගේ රජයක් යටතේ අපිට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම සාධාරණ ඉටු කරන්න සර් සූදානම්.
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේක ඉෂ්ට කරනවා. ඒක අපි ලේයින් අත්සන් කළා කියනවා.
ඒ වගේ තමයි සර් දැන් ඊයේ අපි දැක්ක ප්‍රධාන මාධ්‍යයක් තුන්හුලස් මාධ්‍ය අපිට මේ ප්‍රවෘත්තිය දේශ ඒ කියන්නේ මේ මාරාන්තික උපවාසය දේශපාලනීකරණය කළා තිබා. සජබේ විසින් මෙහෙවන එකක් කියලා තමයි කියලා තිබුණේ. හැබැයි එයාලා මෙන්න වාර්තා කරලා තියෙන විදිය 2024 9 3 වෙනිදා ඔය තුන්හුලස් මාධ්‍ය තමයි මේක වාර්තා කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද්ද තියෙන්නේ අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩල තීරණය දැනට පුහුණුව ලබන සංවර්ධනධාරීන් 16000ක් දිවයින පුරා සියලු පාසල්වල ගුරු අභ්‍යාසලාභීන් ලෙස පත් කර ඔවුන් ගුරු සේවයට ඒකාබද්ධ කිරීමට අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩල අනුමැතිය කවුද මේක වාර්තා කරන්නේ? එයාලා තමයි. ගුරු සංවර්ධන නිලධාරීන් එක්ක
We continue to stand with the development officers in their fight for their rights. Tomorrow, we will remain with them until their rights are secured. Our government is committed to fulfilling the promises made to these development officers in the education sector, including granting appointments to teaching positions in 2 tiers over a 3-year period and permanently integrating those who complete post-bachelor of education diplomas.
අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඉෂ්ට කරනවා කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
The extraordinary Gazette notification declaring 15 services as essential services has been extended once again. The Gazette was issued under the directive of the President and signed by the Secretary to the President, N.S. Kumar Nayaka.
According to the extraordinary Gazette notification, the following services have been declared essential: electricity, fuel, health services, transport, roads, water supply, food services, district secretariats, divisional secretariats and field offices, ambulance services, the central bank, state banks and insurance services, irrigation, telephone and telecommunication services, media services, low-lying land reclamation, agriculture and agricultural insurance. President Andhra Kumara Desanayake first issued the Essential Service Gazette on the 29th of November with the objective of ensuring the uninterrupted delivery of vital public services in view of the disaster situation. In light of the continued impact of Cyclone Ditwa, additional services have been designated as essential to safeguard normal public life and maintain continuity of critical operations.
Newsfirst with the people.
Leader of the House, Bimal Ratnayaka, who is the President's representative on the Constitutional Council, says that a meeting will be held on the 3rd of February to take a decision regarding the appointment of the Auditor General. Although the Constitutional Council met yesterday, a final decision regarding the Auditor General, a matter many were closely watching, was not reached. The Constitutional Council convened yesterday under the chairmanship of Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne. Civil society representatives appointed with the concurrence of the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, namely Professor Vasantha Seneviratne, Austin Fernando and Rajit Aryaratne, also attended the meeting for the first time. Bimal Ratnayaka, a member of the council, expressed his views on this matter during a program held in Trincomalee today.
Auditor General සම්බන්ධව අපි ඊයේ Constitutional Council එක රැස් වුණා.
Regarding the Auditor General, we convened the Constitutional Council yesterday. The President has forwarded a new nomination for the post. It has been understood that the members require a day or two to study that nomination. Therefore, we will be taking a decision on that matter on the 3rd of February, the very day Parliament is scheduled to meet.
A group of senior police officers, including 2 DIGs, has been transferred with immediate effect.
The Police Media Division said that these transfers were made subject to the approval of the National Police Commission. Accordingly, DIG EMGJ Seram has been transferred from the Gold Division to the Recruitment and Training Division. DIG HCA Pushpakumara has been transferred from the Recruitment and Training Division to the Gold Division. The group of transferred officials also includes 5 senior superintendents of police, 1 superintendent of police and 1 chief inspector of police.
Now, the Ministry of Defence states that the period granted for the renewal of firearm licenses for the year 2026 ends today. The Ministry of Defence Media Centre announced that, however, individuals who have not yet renewed their firearm licenses must complete the process before the 10th of next month after paying the relevant fines. The Ministry of Defence further stated that legal action will be taken against all firearm owners who fail to renew their licenses by that date under the charge of possessing a firearm without a valid licence. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has issued a new circular regarding the empowerment of individual, small and micro-scale businesses affected by Cyclone Ditwa. This circular has been released with the objective of providing relief to those individual, small and micro-scale businesses that sustained damages during the disaster. The circular was issued in conjunction with the circular recently released to restore public life, which had been disrupted due to the emergency disaster situation. Accordingly, the following grants and loan facilities have been introduced. Individual, small and micro businesses registered with the Ministry of Industries or a divisional secretariat are eligible for a grant of 200,000 rupees. Unregistered retail businesses operated within a permanent home-based building are eligible for a grant of 50,000 rupees. For unregistered manufacturing industries and greenhouses, a grant of 50,000 rupees will be provided per unit. Temporary business locations, including pavement hawkers and mobile vendors, are eligible for a grant of 25,000 rupees. Business property owners who consent to receive compensation without a formal damage assessment will be paid a grant of 500,000 rupees. In addition to the above grants, the following loan facilities have also been provided. Furthermore, the Treasury has initiated a new loan scheme for working capital required by entrepreneurs to restart their damaged businesses, as well as a separate loan scheme for businesses requiring further investment. Accordingly, facilities have been arranged through the banking system to obtain working capital loans ranging from 250,000 rupees to 25 million rupees at an interest rate of 3% to restart damaged businesses. These loans must be repaid within 3 years, subject to a 6-month grace period. Arrangements have also been made for entrepreneurs whose businesses were damaged to obtain loans up to 25 million rupees through banks at an interest rate of 5% with a 12-month grace period repayable over 10 years. These are provided as investment loans for business resurgence. The second phase of the LOLC Divisavia You, Me, Our Nation social welfare program continued for its 28th consecutive day today. The operations were carried out centering on the Nuwara, Kurunegala and Kandy districts.
The constructions at Kothmale Hadnueva Central College and Kothmale Delta Gamanu Vidyalaya in the Nuwara district, which were impacted by the disaster situation, were vested in the students today. The renovated electrical system at Kahapatwala Vidyalaya in the Kurunegala district was also vested in the students this morning. The renovated constructions at Vaude Royal Central College in Kurunegala and at Unuvinna Ihakatia Primary School in the Kandy district were vested in the students today. The LOLC Divisavia social welfare program is dedicated solely to the people of Sri Lanka.
A celebration of culture and cooperation marked the Happy Chinese New Year Performance 2026 held in Hambantota. The event was attended by the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, who reaffirmed China's continued support for the country while highlighting major contributions in the fields of education, transport and disaster recovery.
The Happy Chinese New Year Performance 2026, attended by the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, was held today in Hambantota. The event featured a vibrant display of Chinese cultural performances, showcasing traditional art, music and dance. Addressing the gathering, the Chinese ambassador emphasized the strong and enduring friendship between China and Sri Lanka. He stated that regardless of changes in the international landscape, China will continue to stand firmly with Sri Lanka.
The Chinese New Year, also called the Spring Festival, is the most cherished and grandest traditional festival in the hearts of the Chinese people, symbolizing the renewal of the new year, family reunion, and harmony. Last year, the Spring Festival was officially inscribed on the UNESCO representative list of the intangible culture, heritage of humanity. China and Sri Lanka are good brothers, sisters, and close friends, partners who support each other through thick and thin. No matter how the international landscape evolves, China will always stand firmly with Sri Lanka people. Our partnership is dedicated to the present. In his fourth consecutive year, our school uniform fabric assistance has provided 11.48 millimeters of fabric this year alone, benefiting 4.4 million students on the journey to education. Our partnership looks forward to the future. The project to provide 900 smart classrooms for 500 schools across the whole island has fully commenced. Maybe in the short near future, a fleet of 100 electric buses with a total of value $25 million will soon be cruising your streets. In the face of natural disasters, last year, Sri Lanka suffered a lot from Cyclone China is the fourth country extending helping hand. Now, 6 Chinese experts in road construction and bridges, across Sri Lanka to carry out the on-site assessment. China will to help Sri Lanka rebuild 16 bridges across whole island.
The event concluded on a note of strengthened bilateral ties and mutual cooperation between China and Sri Lanka.
Legal professionals gathered in Colombo today for the ICT law training on cybercrime and digital challenges.
The ICT Law Training Program was held today in Colombo, titled The Evolving Role of Junior Lawyers in the Age of AI, Digital Lawyering, bringing together young lawyers, law students and technology professionals to explore emerging legal issues in the digital age. Organized by the ICT Lawyers Guild of Sri Lanka, the program aimed to equip participants with up-to-date knowledge on cyber legislation, electronic evidence, data protection principles and the legal implications of new technologies.
In terms of our law, which is primarily found in the evidence ordinance, augmented by judicial precedent, as well as certain statutory provisions in certain subject-specific laws, there are primarily 2 categories of sources of evidence that our courts have recognized over the years: oral evidence and documentary evidence. Some would argue that there is, in fact, a third category of evidence, being real evidence, which is also referred to as physical evidence, various objects that are produced in judicial proceedings. Take, for example, a weapon used to commit crime, firearm, a knife, a sword, etc. But if you really go into the origins of the law of evidence, not only in this country, but in India as well, because Sri Lanka's evidence ordinance is almost a blueprint, a mirror image of the Indian Evidence Act, now comes a splendid use of ICT evidence. In terms of this law, these same forms of ICT evidence can be used not only to corroborate human testimony, but as substantive evidence, as a substitute to human testimony, as a substitute to physical documents. I think we need to engage and get into an inclusive mode of consultation, debate, and hopefully agreement as well, so that the Parliament can take cognizance of our dialogue and enact appropriate laws.
The two eminent American jurists, Cardoso and Oliver Wendell Holmes, said that the life of the law has not been logic, it has been sheer experience. But now, if you apply the topic of artificial intelligence, we would say that the life of the law has not been experienced but only through logic. So it is changing the contours and the dynamics of the entire peripheral system we are living in. Because the central nervous system today is not about your brain, it is about the machine thinking like a human. So you have to compete more and more in a VUCA world. We say that VUCA world means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So in this world, very complex world, you need to apply the law in the proper perspective.
The one-day program concluded with a certificate presentation to participants and a call for further initiatives to expand legal capacity in the field of information and communications technology law.
There's a growing debate today in Sri Lanka whether children under the age of 12 should be allowed to use social media. Concerns about safety, education and mental health have sparked discussions across the country, with many calling for restrictions or even a complete ban. Now, Australia and France have been the latest countries to adapt this law, with many other countries mulling the idea as well. But will this move be beneficial for our younger generation, or will it be one that inhibits their freedom of choice? Newsfirst's Zara Hilmi reports.
Should social media be banned for children under the age of 12? Now, over the past few weeks, there has been significant public discussion regarding the possibility of banning social media for young children. Newsfirst recently conducted a survey on this issue. Here are some of the opinions shared by the public.
ඇත්තටම හොඳයි ඉතින් තහනම් කරනවා නම් මොකද ළමයි හොඳ පැත්ත නෙමෙයිනේ ඒක භාවිතා කරන්නේ නරක පැත්තනේ
ළමයි මේ හැම වෙලේම ගේම් ගහනවා පොත් පාඩම් කරන්නේ මගේ දුව මේ පාර 11 විභාග කරන් ඉන්නේ යාළුවෝ නිසා මේ ටෙලිවිෂන් ගේම් ගහනවා තහනම් කරන එක හොඳයි අවංගවම තහනම් කරන එක හොඳයි
සෝෂල් මීඩියා භාවිතා කරන්න දෙන්න ඕනේ ළමයින්ට සීමා සහිතව දැන් ඇත්තටම සීමාවක් කියලා දෙයක් නැහැනේ හැමදේම ඕපන් නේ තියෙන්නේ ඒක පොඩි සීමාවක් දාලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට අවශ්‍ය ඇප් වලට යන්න අවශ්‍ය මේ ඉගෙනීම් කටයුතු කරන්න ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලට පිවිසෙන්න පුළුවන් විදියට අනිත් දේවල් ඇත්තටම තහනම් කරන එක හොඳයි.
අවුරුදු 18 දක්වාම මම නම් කියන්නේ මේ සෝෂල් මීඩියා වලින් ළමයින්ට අනවශ්‍ය දේවල් අපරාධ දූෂණ ඒ වගේම ළමයිගේ මනස සම්පූර්ණ විකෘති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක 18 දක්වාම දික් කරොත් තමයි අපි නම් කියන්නේ හොඳයි කියලා.
මම හිතන්නේ ඉතින් 12ට අඩු අයටත් පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියන්නේ අනවශ්‍ය විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැතුව සාමාන්‍ය විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරොත් එයාලට ඉගෙන ගන්න දේවල් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා සෝෂල් මීඩියා වලින්.
දැන් ළමයි ටික ඔක්කොම නාස්ති වෙලානේ මහත්තයා තියෙන්නේ ඕකේ. මං කියන්නේ මේ TikTok අරම ඔක්කොම සාහනම් කරත් හොඳයි සෝෂල් මීඩියා එකේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ළමයි ගන්න දෙයක් නැති වෙන්නේ නාස්ති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ ලංකාවේ.
අවුරුදු 12න් පහළ ළමයිට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ මනස හොඳට දියුණු කරලා නැහැ. ඉතින් Facebook එකේ තියෙන නරක දේවල් දැක්කම නරකට තමයි ළමයි යොමු වෙන්න බලන්නේ. ඒ හින්දා ඒක තහනම් කරන එක හොඳයි.
Many countries have already banned social media for children, countries like Australia, for example. So will this decision have an impact on Sri Lanka as well? Will social media be banned in Sri Lanka? Let's wait and see.
In more local news, the Boat and Marine Conference took place today in Colombo, gathering local and international speakers to explore the future of nautical tourism.
The ocean around our country is not just a border. It is an important part of Sri Lanka's future. Today I'm here at the Boat and Marine Show Conference 2026, where many panelists gathered to have discussions about how to shape Sri Lanka's future towards nautical tourism. Now, the Boat and Marine Show 2026 is a major marine event that's currently taking place at the port city in Colombo. And today this conference drew both international as well as local speakers. They shared their insights and expertise on how to shape Sri Lanka and how to shape its future towards nautical tourism and excel within the marine sector. Reporting to you, I'm Omitra Bekon for the Newsfirst team. The Boat and Marine Conference was held today in Colombo, bringing together a diverse group of local and international speakers to discuss the future of nautical tourism. The theme of the conference, Boating as a Lifestyle, charting Sri Lanka's course towards a nautical nation, highlighted the country's vision to develop a strong and sustainable maritime culture. Sri Lanka is hosting the 9th edition of this event at the iconic port city Colombo, bringing together the global marine industry from the 30th of January until the 1st of February. Organized by the Chamber of Marine Industries Sri Lanka, the show is supported by the Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, along with the Sri Lanka Export Development Board. The Maharaja Media Network is the sponsor of the Boat and Marine Show 2026.
Let's take a look at the second part of a hidden secret. Dharma Yuddha 2 has successfully been screened over 250 times to date.
Dharma Yuddha 2 began screening across the island on the 23rd of January. Since then, out of over 250 showings, more than 70 have been houseful. With increasing audience response day by day, several cinemas have been selling out since the film's opening day. Even on its 8th day, the film continued screening, breaking box office records.
අන්තිම විනාඩි වෙනකම්ම කුතුහලයක් තිබුණා ෆිල්ම් එකේ. මේ හරිම ලස්සන ෆිල්ම් එකක්.
අර ගස් වටේ දුවන ෆිල්ම් එකක් නෙවෙයි. හොඳ වෙනසක් තියෙන ෆිල්ම් එකක්.
ඊ සතිය එකපාරක් බැලුවා. දැන් මේ පාර අද ගෙදර කට්ටියක් ආවා.
හොඳ කතාවක් තියෙනවා. හොඳ ලොජික් එකක් ඇතුව බිල් කරපු කතාවක්.
බලපු ෆිල්ම් එකෙන් සුපිරිම ෆිල්ම් එක. හරිම ලස්සනයි.
හැම අවුරුද්දෙම ඔහොමනේ බං. අතන හොයනවා කියනවා, මෙතන හොයනවා කියනවා. අන්තිමට හොයාගත්ත දෙයක් නෑනේ බං.
හොඳ චිත්‍රපටියක්. ඉතින් මේ ගොඩක් සන්තෝෂයි. අපේ ළමයිත් හරි ආසාවෙන් බැලුවා.
කුතුහලය සපිරි හොඳ නිර්මාණයක් කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්.
ඇස් දෙකට කඳුළු ආවා. තාත්තා කෙනෙකුට පවුලක් වෙනුවෙන් කරන්න බැරි දෙයක් නෑ.
මං හිතන් හිටියේ නෑ ඔච්චර දෙයක් ආයෙ කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ධර්ම යුද්ධයේ පළවෙනි එකත් අපි බැලුවා. ඉතින් දෙවෙනි එක ඉතාම හොඳයි. කට්ටියගේම රංගපෑම් ඉතාම විශිෂ්ටයි.
ගොඩක් හොඳ ෆිල්ම් එකක්. අපි පළවෙනි එකටත් ආස හිතිලා තමයි දෙවෙනි එක බලන්න ආවේ. එක්සලන්ට් ෆිල්ම්.
කියන්න මට කොහෙද මිනිහ බලන්නේ කියලා.
මේ දරුවා මරපු එකේ පලිය. ඔය හරිචන්ද්‍ර පවුලෙන් මන් තවම අරගෙන ඉවර නෑ ඔපාලි.
ෆිල්ම් එක මේ ඇත්තටම හොඳ. ඊටට වඩා මේ ක්‍රියේටිව් ෆස්ට් ෆිල්ම් එකට වඩා අවංගම හොඳ.
මේ මාසේ 23 වෙනිදා ධර්ම යුද්ධයේ ආපු දවසේ ඉඳන්ම මේ හැම දර්ශන වාරයක්ම හවුස්ෆුල් වෙන මට්ටමටම සෙනග පිරීලා ඉතුරුණා.
Dharma Yuddha is the latest movie presented to cinemas by the Maharaja Media Network. Filled with love, suspense, fear and curiosity, Dharma Yuddha 2 is a movie the whole family can enjoy together. So don't miss out on this blockbuster. Reserve your seat today.
මගේ නම හරිචන්ද්‍ර. මේ මගේ පාපොච්චාරණේ.
We now take a look at a very significant religious and cultural event that graces Colombo every year. The Navamaha Perahera of the Hunupitiya Gangarama Temple in Colombo is parading the streets right now. Newsfirst's Janitu Hettiarachi, who is at the Perahera, brings us the very latest.
Nawam Maha Perahera, a very special festival that holds a very special place in the hearts of Sri Lankan Buddhists. Today marks the first day of the first entry to this wonderful cultural marvel. With majestic elephants, with wonderful traditional dance performances and a rich cultural heritage, the Gangarama Perahera brings in foreign tourists and locals alike year after year to this wonderful location in Colombo.
Among the Buddhist religious festivals of Sri Lanka, the Hunupitiya Gangarama Nawam Perahera in Colombo holds a uniquely significant place. Established in 1979, the Nawam Perahera was originally known as the Colombo Perahera during its early years. Initiated by the late Most Venerable Galabuddha Gnani Sarathera, the Gangarama Nawam Perahera festival grew through his tireless dedication to become the most vibrant cultural spectacle in the city of Colombo, earning immense admiration from both local and international audiences. Today, the 47th annual Gangarama Nawam Perahera parades the streets as the capital's most prestigious procession, featuring majestic elephants, stunning traditional dance performances, and various cultural displays. It is an event that both local citizens and foreign tourists gather to witness every year. Intertwining religious harmony, tradition, and national heritage, the Gangarama Perahera stands as a grand cultural festival that showcases Sri Lankan identity and our rich heritage to the entire world.
In news from the Middle East, now 2 explosions have been reported in Iran as the regime denied a military leader was targeted amid heightened tensions in the region.
Media in Iran reported that one blast happened at Iran's southern port of Bandar Abbas earlier today, killing a 4-year-old girl and injuring 14 others. According to local officials, the second blast, more than 1,000 kilometers away in Ahwaz, saw 4 people killed. Israel have denied involvement in both strikes. Social media reports alleging a Revolutionary Guard Navy commander was targeted in the Bandar Abbas explosion were completely false, the semi-official Tasnim news agency confirmed. The cause of the blasts are so far unknown. The port of Bandar Abbas lies on the Strait of Hormuz, which is a vital shipping route between Iran and Oman. It handles about a fifth of the world's seaborne oil. It comes amid rising tension in the region as the US builds up its military presence nearby. It also follows nationwide protests prompted by economic issues, but which quickly turned into an effort to overthrow the Iranian regime. The protests were quickly stamped out by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and the number of people killed is thought to be in the thousands.
The local motorsport scene reached a fever pitch today as Yes 101, Sri Lanka's premier hit music station, hosted its flagship Grand Prix Go-karting championship.
Held at the state-of-the-art circuit in Port City, the event drew a massive turnout, featuring a diverse grid of over 100 participants competing for the podium across 3 distinct categories: professionals, amateur and women. The tournament was strategically structured to cater to varying skill levels, ensuring high-octane experience for both seasoned racers and newcomers. The event seamlessly blended high-performance sport with a vibrant festival atmosphere.
As the engines cool down and the trophies find a new house, this is the end of the Yes 101 Grand Prix.
The 7th edition of the Karma Fight League, South Asia's largest K1 combat sports tournament, was held in Colombo yesterday.
The 7th edition of the Karma Fight League, South Asia's largest K1 combat sports tournament, set Colombo on fire yesterday. The thrilling event brought together top athletes from India, Nepal and several other countries, all demonstrating their skills in karate, Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Sri Lanka's Januka Ranavira stole the spotlight, winning the Yes 101's Performance of the Night award for his stellar performance. The award was presented by MBC Chief Operating Officer Buddhi Vikramanayaka along with Chamal Fonseca, Marketing and Partnerships Consultant of KFL. Kavindra Sanjay claimed the title of Extreme Champion of the tournament. For the third consecutive time, the Maharaja Media Network proudly sponsored the event, supporting the growth of combat sports in Sri Lanka and helping local athletes shine on the international stage. With its electrifying action and rising popularity, the Karma Fight League continues to captivate fight fans across the region.
In some netball news, the EVA All-Island and Open Schools Netball Tournament 2026 commenced today. This year marks the 31st edition of this event.
The inauguration ceremony of the EVA All-Island and Open Schools Netball Tournament 2026 was held under the patronage of Suresh Srinivasan, Group Director and CEO of the Capital Maharaja Group. The President of the Western Province Netball Association, Karel Tozer, officers of the association and players also joined the event. 217 teams are participating in this year's tournament, which is being held under 4 categories. The school division will be held in the age groups of under 15, under 17 and under 19.
I am indeed happy to hear that 217 schools and club teams from all parts of the country are participating in this tournament. This game is not only about the spirit of competition, but also EVA's enduring commitment to women's empowerment and community development. EVA has supported and encouraged women across Sri Lanka over 3 decades, enabling them to lead by confidence, strength and dignity. Netball as a sport emphasizes teamwork, determination, resilience and focus.
The event is taking place at the Sri Lanka Air Force Grounds in Colombo.
And in some entertainment news, the Y Relax Party, organized by YFM, which took Sri Lanka's youth entertainment to a whole new level, kicked off this evening in Colombo.
Thousands of young people from the new generation flocked to Excel World in Colombo to switch from stress to vibes at the Y Relax Party, which kicked off this evening. The event offered a range of activities to help the youth unwind, including fun contests like Miss Beauty, Mr. Handsome, Best Dancer, and several other exciting games. Adding a unique energy to the night was a DJ session by island-wide DJ champion Aaron Drade and DJ Kitcha, keeping the crowd moving. The highlight of the evening was a live concert featuring crowd favorites such as Wasti, Kanchana Anuradi, Dinesh Gamage, Kaiser Kais, Hana Shafa, Ashanya Premadasa and Nisal Kavinder, delivering unforgettable performances for the Y Relax Party audience.
Now, fuel prices in Sri Lanka were revised a short while ago. The prices of Octane 92 petrol and Lanka white diesel have been reduced by 2 rupees effective from midnight today. Accordingly, the new price of a litre of Octane 92 petrol will be 292 rupees, while the new price of a litre of Lanka white diesel will be 277 rupees. Prices of other fuel types remain unchanged. And on that note, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you for watching. Take care, good night, and God bless you.